All right, hey guys, here to talk about a few proportions and ratios and rate things with you today. Hope the last few days are going well. I'm a bit tired. My wife gave birth this afternoon to Bryden Ray Patrick Smith. So she gave birth around 4:30, and I'm at home right now. It's 9:30. Gonna record some stuff for you guys and head back to the hospital. So appreciate if you guys would pay attention and really try hard today because you know my wife was just in labor for 72 hours and I'm busting my butt for you guys. So all right, hopefully I've guilted you into working hard today. I'm going to start off with a couple warm-up questions for you guys, setting up a proportion, and then solving it in a way that maybe Miss Armstrong or your covering teacher showed you guys, but I'm going to show you guys maybe a new way of thinking about solving these. So here we have a baseball player. 160 games last year, 40 home runs. This year he can only play 100 games. Could we predict how many home runs he's going to hit this year? So I'm going to set up a ratio. Games to home runs. And in 160 games, he hit 40 home runs. And we're going to set that equal to, compare it to, if he only played 100 games, how many home runs would he hit? Now, you guys have hopefully solved a lot of these already, looking for relationships within a ratio or between ratios. I'm going to show you guys a new way of thinking about this. Another way of writing this is with fractions. We can just write that as 160 over 40 and 100 over h. And you can solve these by using, it's related to the method you've been using, multiplication division, kind of a shortcut if you will. What you can do is kind of like circle the two guys that are on the diagonal. We're going to multiply them. And then we're going to divide by the third number. And that's going to give us our value for h. 40 times 100 divided by 160. You guys should all be armed with a calculator, so we should all be able to do that. 40 times 100 is 4,000. 4,000 divided by 160, 25. So we can expect our player to hit 25 home runs. And so we still were required to set up our proportion, but maybe writing it in terms of fractions, maybe using this method might connect a bit better with you. Hopefully help you out today. So let's set up a second one. In February 2011, it snowed 252 centimeters. Now let's just actually think about that for a second. Compare number of days to how much snow fell. In February, most Februaries, there are 28 days. And in 2011, it snowed 252 centimeters. We want to know how much on average it snowed in one day. So for one day, how much did it snow? I'm going to say, let my variable x be. S kind of looks like a 5. So we can set this up in terms of fractions if you prefer. 28 over 252 equals 1 over x. And this time the x is on the bottom again. But if it's on the top, you do the same thing. You just look for the diagonal that has your two numbers. Here it's this again. 252 times 1. And then we're going to divide by 28. So x equals 252 times 1 divided by 28. And most of you guys could probably do that in one step in your calculator. Do the multiplication, 252 times 1 divided by 28. You can put it in all in one step, kind of like I'm showing you right now. And we get exactly 9. Conclude that one up. 9 centimeters in one day, on average. So we will come back to solving proportions when I return. And reviewing methods to solve, but maybe that method works with you. And if you have time today and working on some practice from the previous days, maybe you can try using that method, see how it works out for you. Today we are talking about rates. Firstly, what is a rate? A rate is a comparison of two quantities. And I do apologize for spelling. I'm pretty tired. We're doing our best here. Two quantities. Now that looks like the definition for a ratio. With the rate, though, two quantities with different units. If we go back to our first example, what we found by calculating H in our first example is that this player hits 25 home runs in 1 year. That's a rate. Or write it this way. Okay, this is the tiredness kicking in, so don't write that down. So he hit 40 home runs per 60 games. Squeeze that in there. Or another way of saying that is he hit per 160 games. Or we found that he hits 25 home runs per 100 games. That's a rate. It's a comparison between two quantities. There was home runs and games. In our second example, I'll just write one of these. We found that on average, we got 9 centimeters of snow per 1 day. So those are rates, comparing two quantities with different units. The second example here is a special kind of rate. It's a unit rate, because it tells you, the key idea is it tells you the amount of snowfall for 1 day. Keyword being 1. Unit rates always have that second unit. The second value I'm going to write is always 1. So let's look at an example just to kind of motivate unit rate. So here I've given you guys a rate. And you guys, if you've ridden a car, looked at speed, maybe you have a speedometer on your bike, you guys have experience using rates and distance and time. So if you travel 200 kilometers in 2 hours, it's not too hard to use mental math and just divide those by 2 to see that the speed as a unit rate is 100 kilometers in words every 1 hour. So that is a way to express the unit rate. The key word, it's a unit rate because it's the kilometers for every 1 hour. So you could write it all in words, or you can combine using words and symbols. So 100 kilometers in 1 hour, you can shorten it up by using symbols. Now what we usually do is we write that rate in a nice and tidy way using just numbers and symbols. So we'd write that as 100 kilometers per hour. We understand that to mean 100 kilometers for every 1 hour. And as we start talking about unit rates and rates, we will often use this form right here. So just the 100 kilometers per hour means 100 kilometers for every 1 hour. I would encourage you, if you need to have a little talk, just to pause the video, ask a question. You can always rewind it. Obtaining unit rates is super easy. The key is to divide. So in this example here, we have, and most of the time, like you go to the store, you have some options. You can buy a single apple for a certain amount, or you can often buy a bag of apples and they have you a fixed price. So in this bag of 20 apples, this whole bag costs $4.60. So we're going to find out how much it costs for 1 apple in this bag. So what we're going to do, so since it's for 1 apple, we're trying to find, and I'll write this down for this one, we're finding the cost per apple. So we're basically going to take the cost and divide it by, if you have different colored pen or just want to write that symbol above, we're going to take the cost and divide it by number of apples. Very straightforward. So here, our unit rate, we just simply take we're taking the cost, so 460 divided by 20 apples, and you can do that. Do the numbers, do that division on your calculators. So 460 divided by 20. I got 0.23, and we can write that as a unit rate in the following way. We can just simply write it as $0.23 per apple, because we did cost divided by number of apples. So each apple costs 23 cents, and we just got it by division. Now, oftentimes, and we'll do some problems on this, you want to, like, there's lots of different apples, and there's lots of different brands. And a lot of times you want to get the best value for your dollar. It's a very basic skill, but a super important skill when it comes to budgeting and being able to shop on your own, being able to find a good deal. So here we want to find out what's better, buying those 20 apples for $4.60 or buying these 15 for $3.75. Well, a way to do that and compare is to find the unit rate for each case. So let's do that again here. Let's find the unit rate for this bag. We've got $3.75 divided by 15 apples. And again, you guys do this too. So $3.75 divided by 15. And we get 0.25, and again we divided the dollars by the apples, so that we get a unit rate of dollars per apple, per 1 apple. So now it's easy to see which one is better buy. The one that costs the least amount per apple is the better buy. The first option costs less. What am I trying to write here? Sorry, it's super late. I'm so exhausted. The first option costs less per apple. All right. So key idea when you're trying to find the best value in shopping is to determine the best value in shopping for several options. Calculate the unit rate for each option and compare. So hopefully that example made sense. Again, pause the video, ask a question if you need it. We're just gonna take a moment and do a few questions involving finding rates and unit rates. So maybe we'll do the first example together and then see if you can try the next two. So I'm going to actually simply do this two ways. So a family uses 279 liters of water in 3 months. Well, what is that as a rate? That's $279 liters per 3 months, basically what the question said. How much did they use in 1 month? That's the unit rate. We're going to do 279 divided by 3 months. And 279 divided by 3, we get 93 liters per month because we divided the liters by the month. So it's very straightforward. It's just division to find that unit rate, 93 liters per month. In these next two, can you guys just calculate the unit rate? So using division, pause the video, give it your best go, okay? Well, you can pause the video. We'll take these up when you guys come back. And then we got some practice for you guys to give it a try. And I want to just encourage you guys, try your best. We can always talk about things when I return to class on Friday. But try your best, and you know what? I believe in most of you guys. You can believe in all you guys. Most of you guys can get this with a bit of work. So just put your minds to it, and have a great rest of the day. See you in a couple minutes when we take these up. Okay, so in number 2, we're finding the points per game. So we're going to take the points and divide by the number of games. Very simple. 60 points divided by 80. And there I'm writing it, instead of using a division sign, I'm just writing one over the other. 60 over 80, that is 0.75. And because we divided points by games, that is points per game. And finally, we have 2 unit rates to calculate in this one to find which charges less. So for, I'm just going to call it company A. For the first one, $30 for 100 texts. So if we take $30 divided by 100 texts, 30 divided by 100 is 0.3, and because it's dollars, I'm going to do 0.30. So that's $0.3 per text. So 30 cents per text. Maybe a little bit outdated here. The second one, the unit rate, it's $50 for 175 texts. So how many dollars is it per one test? Well, we just used division. 50 divided by 175. And here we have to round a bit. We get about $0.29 for every text, 29 cents. And now that they're both in a unit rate, this one is the better deal. This company charges less. All right. So yeah, good luck with the rest of the day. Apologize for some of my missteps there. I'm actually like almost falling asleep. But looking forward to seeing you guys Friday, and work hard. And we'll talk to you guys soon.